Hi, everybody. It's we again.
It's me again.
It's we. Eva Pandit and Dr. Melissa Mahon, my wonderful friend. And we are here to talk about another tool of the day. What are we talking about today, Melissa?
We're going to talk about money. I'm excited.
Me too.
One of my favorite topics. Oh
Same.
my goodness. So we thought we would read you guys a little bit out of the foundation manual, a little tease, if you will, of money. And there's actually lots of money tools in the foundation manual. And we talk a lot. Well, in my classes, money comes up a lot. So it comes up quite a bit in foundation classes. And so we thought it would be a fun thing to dive into a little bit today.
Woohoo.
So really pull up my manual here. So money. There is no such thing as a money problem. It's only a problem with what you are willing to receive and also what you are willing to be. The purpose of money is to change people's realities. So let's maybe start with that.
Wow. Wow. I remember when I first heard that, it blew. I had to read it over and over again to even get it. Like, wait, what? The purpose of money is to change people's reality. Because I used to be, I don't know about you guys, like, I used to really be about, like, I don't care about money. Money doesn't really matter. Like, so I used to be that person who has that, who made like money irrelevant almost. And always had, some sort of conflict going on around the topic of money. But when I heard this thing about what if the purpose of money is to change people's reality, I think hearing that for the first time got me interested in, okay, tell me more. So
Yeah.
Melissa, tell me more.
Well, it's interesting because I look at that too. I used to have the saying, like, money's only paper. I would say it all the time. And I like really have this point of view that money was irrelevant, like you said. But meanwhile, I was in gobs of debt. And so I had the point of view that money wasn't relevant, but I certainly was not educated on money or had, it's like I didn't want to look at it. And it was, one of the things I looked at with money a lot is that like my husband really likes money. And I had friends who also would like engage with him when we were dating about like savings plans and retirement plans and all this stuff and how much money they would had this, that, or the other thing. And I was so uncomfortable that I would get up and leave the table. And I was like, I'll be back when they're done with this conversation because it made me want to crawl out of my skin. It was like I could not like even be present with money. And I look at that now, I'm like, well, no wonder I was in debt. Like I was so not willing to receive so much that I couldn't even be present for a topic or like for a conversation about money.
Wow. Yeah. I can so echo with that in so many different ways that I've done it. Like money and I'd check out. I'd literally be like, the funniest thing is my father was like a chartered accountant, which is basically he was a numbers person. And so I grew up really just anything that's got to do with money, dad, like, and just cut out. And I really didn't, consciousness includes everything, including money. And I was definitely not including money in the equation of my life. Used to um, really have a very a very dysfunctional relationship with money where I'm not like, look at it. If money was a person, right? So if you're dating someone and you ignore them, you don't want to look at them, you don't want to talk to them. And anytime they come up, you either like just, do something that's rushed with them. Either look at, okay, go into panic with, okay, how do I use it? Where do I use it? I don't know what to do with it. Like if you're just going to someone, maybe your lover is coming to you for an embrace and you're like, wait, hello, that's too much, I don't know what to do with you. So
Mhm.
that's what a lot of us do with money. And money is one of my most favorite topics because, and I often get like a lot of people that work with me on a regular on other different things often don't show up or sort of like do the same energy of shutting down when it comes to money. And when I talk to them, I often hear them say like, I don't connect with money conversations. And like, it's so fascinating to look at whatever it is that you'd like to change even in the world. How much more ease would it be if you allowed money to contribute to that too and to contribute to you?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting too because like I have a few friends, one in particular that's always like, "You just love money." And I'm like, "Yeah." But it was like, it's not that, I mean, yes, that, and also I'm willing to have money. And we had a conversation one day and he was like, "Wow, I've never heard you say that before." He's like, or at least I've never heard it, even if you have said it, because it is about the willingness to have money, which is about the willingness to receive, which is not like a, "Oh, you're money hungry." It's like a true willingness, because our natural state is money. It is abundance. It is to have, you know, an ongoing inflow of money, and money flows like air, right? In and out, and not to have this like, but nobody realizes that. So there's so much cutting off receiving. Like you're saying, people are like, "Oh, I don't connect with money conversations." But it's instead, it's kind of like the no, are you actually like willing to be present enough in your life and to be present enough with money of like, what would it change if not only were you willing to receive it, but like that part about like money, the purpose of money is to change people's realities. You know, one of the things I say to people a lot, because they're like, "I don't need money. That's not spiritual. That's not like, you're not a good person if like you're willing to have money." And I've asked people, like, "Can you change the world more with money or without it?" And if you were willing to have money, how much more change could you actually create on the planet if you were willing to do that? Because it's like you look at the people who can change things, who have the means, and not to say you can't change the world without money, but how much more can you if you're willing to have the money to fund the change that you would like to see in the world?
I love that. And have you guys ever had that where I used to really separate myself. It used to be like me and then people that have money. It used to
Me
be like that.
too.
This is and then like people that have money. But like it's and there's so many weird points of views that we have attached to money that have nothing to do with money. Like for example, that my family used to have this saying that the people that have money, that kind of money, people that have kind of that kind of money are not altruistic, or they're selfish, or they're this or they're that. And one of the questions that really changed a lot of things for me was to really look at, wait, is it money that's creating that in them, or is it just the people?
Right.
So is it that money makes you X, Y, and Z, or that money gives you the power to be more or whatever the hell you want to be?
Yeah. That well, and I've heard that said a lot. It's like money like amplifies what you are. It doesn't make you a certain way. It just shows you more of who you be. And
Exactly.
what would it be like if we were all willing to have the money? You know, I mean, one of my asks is really like for the humanoids of the planet to have the money.
Oh,
So
me
what if
too.
we had the money? Because it's like the more that we have, like what else can we create on the planet that changes the world, where, you know, we're not using it to destroy the earth. We're not using it to, you know, corruption and all those things. But if it's not from greed, but it's actually from, you know, the spaces of what can we be for the earth and what can we be to create a different future. But we have to be willing to have the money in the first place in order for that to show up.
Exactly. And if the purpose of money was to change people's reality, then let's just look at it. A lot of times we spend money, not use money. And so if you weren't like spending the money you had and were using it to change your reality,
Hmm.
what choice can you make with money that you know will create more, greater for you? So that's such a different way of functioning. And this is exactly one of the things that my foundation class, the first one that I ever took, started to empower me on the trajectory of, to stop being computational with money, but really look at, if the purpose of money was to change people's reality, and if I were not spending it, how can I use the money? What would this particular choice create?
Yeah.
And then follow that, and allow the universe and the money to like contribute to what's actually possible for you.
Yeah, that, I heard Gary say recently, like it was in the 6-day class, he said something around, somebody said, what did they say? They said, I don't have the money or something, or I didn't have the money, or I don't have the money. And Gary like got really harsh and he was like, I don't ever want to hear you say that again. And he's like, as soon as you've decided and concluded that you don't have the money, you don't have the money. And so he was like, that is a lie. And it's, instead of I don't have the money, it's how can I create the money? And to be willing to be in the question and not in the conclusion of I don't have the money. Because it's like, well, is that ever true? Or if you ask the question of what can I be here? What can I create here? What can I generate here? Then it's like, is anything actually out of your reach? Um, I look at so many different things that I've chosen that in that moment, the money was not in my hand. But it's like, okay, I'm choosing, and the money follows that choice for something that will create greater. So it's, we think that we have to have the money to make a choice, but what if it's not that at all? What if it's we make the choice and the money follows?
And ask for money to show up. Like, that's one
Yeah.
thing we seldom do. I see so often. I've done it. I've been guilty of it a lot of
Oh, me
times,
too.
and I've got to be right. And I've got to be really onto myself to not do that. To be like, oh, I would like to do that, but, and there's whatever is my excuse that I don't have the money, or
Mhm.
whatever reference point I'm using as a validation for that point of view that I cannot do what I want to do. And so, like, what if we didn't buy into, and yeah, sorry, that's my dog, if you can hear it in the background.
It's okay. He's
It's like,
cute.
that's not cool. You cannot say that about money, Bob. You do have the money. You always do. You lying bitch.
I love that.
But really, it's about looking at, if you didn't buy into your own story about, and I know sometimes saying things like that can sound very harsh, especially if your bank statement is showing a different reality in that moment. But what if we didn't limit our choices because we don't have money? What if we didn't buy into that story? We made the choice of having what we'd like to have and then asked for money to show up. That's so different. That's like, then you're asking a question which allows the universe to contribute to you. If you're concluding with things like, I don't have money, guess what? What you're thinking about is what you're creating as a reality. Your point of view creates your reality. So, like, if there's one thing you guys take out of this conversation today, I really hope that this piece stays with you. That look at being aware and be aware of the kind of points of views you have when you think of money, what comes up, because those points of views are creating your reality.
Yeah, so much that. If we remember that one tool, your point of view creates your reality, and really look at like what is your point of view about everything, including money. And when that comes up, pot and pock, all of your points of view around money or about yeah, what it takes to create something, what it takes to have the money, and actually just be in the question of asking. I love what you said there, Ava. Like, just ask for money. Are you asking? Or are you deciding and concluding? So what would it take to be willing to catch it, notice it, and change it? Be like, okay, if I wasn't doing conclusion here, if I wasn't presuming here, what question can I ask? And even if it's, hey, universe, what's it going to take for the money to show up? And what can I be to create it? Cool.
I love that. Thank you so much. And you guys, these are the kind of ways in which we challenge our current foundation of our reality, like the limitations based on which we are creating our life that we don't even realize that we're using to create our life. Like, we just say things in a passing, like, oh, I cannot, I would like to, but not right now. I cannot. So those are the kind of places where, when you start to allow consciousness to seep in and to show you what you're actually doing, and while also giving you tools to like choose something different, like Melissa just said, that when you notice the whole conclusion, what if you just let that go and went into a question like, okay, what would it take for money to show up? So these are the kind of conversations that we have in our foundation class, and this is, like, I would say, tip of the tip
Yeah. Oh,
of what that class is about. But I would love to, on behalf of my friend, Dr. Melissa, also invite you to check out about foundation. And Melissa and I are doing a foundation the coming weekend in California, in the beautiful city of Danville. And if these kind of conversations, the foundation class, if this energy, if Melissa and I ping you, come join us. We'd love to have you in the class with us.
I'm so excited. It's so beautiful there, and it's gonna be such a, like, generative class. So please come play if this is in your world.
Totally. Amazing. Well, thank you so much, guys, for joining us for the tool of the day. Tell us, how do you like this? Would you guys like us to do more of this? Let us know. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask us in comments wherever you're watching this. Feel free to tag Melissa or I, and we're here. What can we contribute to you?
Hey, right. See you guys later.
Bye. Bye.